Hello, good evening. I'm going to call this meeting of the School Committee of Wakefield on Tuesday, August 26th, 2025 to order. As always, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So everyone please stand. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I'm going to proceed with a reading of our mission statement. The vision of the Wakefield Public Schools is to graduate students who are confident, lifelong learners who are respectful and caring members of their community. Our mission is to prepare students for college, career, and community by providing a rich and challenging curriculum, high-quality instruction, and educational experiences that meet their individual needs and interests. At this point in the meeting, I would like to open the meeting for public comment. Any member of the public who wishes to address the school committee can come up to the table and speak to the microphone. Ian, is there anyone on Zoom? Okay. So if you like, just say your name and.
Great, good evening. Good evening, my name is Katrina Fitzgerald. I'm the parent of two WPS students, a rising sixth grader at the Galvin, Claire, and a rising second grader at the Dobear, Sean. In my professional capacity, I'm deputy director at a nonprofit called the Electronic Privacy Information Center, or EPIC, where I've worked for over 10 years. In my role at EPIC, I serve as a policy expert, not only on privacy issues, obviously by the name of the organization, but also on the ways in which our phones and online platforms are built to addict us, and the many ways that is especially detrimental to kids and teens. I've testified before Congress and dozens of state legislatures on these issues. I was recently named to the Council on Responsible Social Media, which is a bipartisan group of leaders across the country addressing the negative mental, civic, and public health impacts of social media in America, chaired by former House Speaker Dick Gephardt. I say all this to explain that thinking about the harms of screens and the mental health impacts of social media and screens is what I do all day, every day. And everything I've learned in my professional capacity and as a mom puts me firmly in support of the change to the high school handbook limiting access to cell phones in schools. I actually don't even think it goes far enough. I'd love to see a bell-to-bell ban, but it's a step in the right direction. The mere presence of a phone nearby is a distraction, and it reduces our cognitive ability. I don't need to tell you this. We all know it as adults. We can't help but check our notifications, even when we want to be spending time with our family or doing something else. But studies have shown that using our phones, particularly for social media, it stimulates the release of dopamine in the brain. That's why we are constantly checking it. That's, we crave that next dopamine hit. And that's why, I think a bell-to-bell ban is best for students, because if they know that their phone's nearby, or if they can check it at lunch, they literally can't pay attention for an hour or two before they know that next dopamine hit is coming. That's how addicting these screens are. They control us even when our phone's off. So I know that cell phone bans are not popular with a large number of parents. I get that, parents fear the worst case scenario. What if there's an emergency? My kid can't get in touch with me. But school safety experts say that the last thing they want kids having in a situation that requires a lockdown is a cell phone. I have a few copies. I'm happy to share of a letter from the National Association of School Resource Officers in strong support of bell-to-bell bans. They say that outside communication during an emergency makes students less safe. Leslie, I know this policy changed about the high school, but I want to share with you a little story that I think is relevant. My daughter's fifth grade teacher asked me to come in and speak to their class this past year about cell phones, texting, social media, because they were having so many problems in fifth grade. And the sense I got from those 10 and 11-year-olds after talking to them was that they know these devices are not healthy for them, right? Like they just got them, they remember what their life was like before they got them, and they know they're making them unhappy. And the impression I came away from that meeting with was that the vast majority of those kids wish that the adults in their life would put stricter limits on their cell phone use. Their brains are not ready to handle the way these screens are affecting them. And they are looking to us, the adults in their lives, to set those rules, set the parameters around when they should access the devices that their young brains just aren't ready to handle. So thank you for your time tonight. Happy to be a resource to the school committee on this, and I do urge you to support the change to the high school handbook. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Comments?
We have your letter
Yeah.
digitally. I have it, and I can distribute it to the
Okay, great.
community,
Excellent.
to the school committee. Thank you.
There's no one's on Zoom? Okay. All right, seeing that no one else is here for public comment, we're going to close public comment at this point. Next up on the agenda is, we have a consent agenda.
Move that the school committee approve the minutes of the August 12th, 2025 school committee meeting and accept the minutes of the August 11th, 2025 policy and communications subcommittee meeting.
Second. Okay, I have to recuse myself from this vote because I was not present at the last meeting. So, all those in favor? All those opposed? All right, unanimous? Okay. And you said both minutes, right? Okay, I'm sorry. All right, thank you. Next, we have no budget items, correct?
Christine, I believe.
Oh, is Christine here?
Joining us.
I'm sorry.
She's joining us via Zoom. Do we have Christine Bufagner on Zoom?
Can you hear me? My camera doesn't seem to be working, but I'm here.
We can hear you.
Yes, there's no budget items tonight, but if anyone has any questions, in the last packet, we presented the June and July financial reports. But I'm here if anyone has any questions.
Does anyone have any questions? Seeing none, I think you are good, Christine. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah. And next up, Dr. Lyons, Superintendent's report.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. With the permission of the chair, I'd like to take the items out of order.
Of course.
And I'd like to invite Erin Manzi, interim principal of Doyle, world language coordinator, for just the two hats she's wearing currently. And so just to come up and talk to us about the Quebec trip.
Thank you so much. Is it going to be presented here, or should I just kind of go from my screen?
So it's on there.
Okay.
So you should have a clicker.
Do I have a clicker?
Do you?
I can use my screen from here, though, too. I just need to know what I'm looking at up there. I'll look over there. Okay. While we're waiting, I don't want to waste your time. Thanks so much for having me tonight. I really appreciate you supporting the World Language Department and allowing me to present the Quebec trip for the 2026 year. I've had the opportunity to attend this trip with the 8th grade students in the past, and it's a fabulous trip. It's so educationally sound, really eye-opening to so many students, really expanding their cultural knowledge, cultural awareness. So I appreciate you having me tonight to continue this program. Where did I go? Great. So taking a look at here, again, this is a long-standing tradition at the Galvin Middle School. This has been organized. Students have been attending this trip for well over 30 years. So it's really something that students look forward to, teachers look forward to on a yearly basis. Over the years, we've made some adjustments to the trip to improve the trip, to make it more accessible to students, meet students' needs. About 3 years ago, on the onboard of one of our newer French teachers, Jordan Metcalf, when she came on board, I believe it was the 2020 school year in the fall, she made some adjustments to the trip that year that she had, very similar to something that she'd run in the past in her previous school district, which was to make a shift from offering the trip in the spring over Memorial Day weekend to offering the trip in the winter, which people thought that she was crazy at first. We're really thinking about traveling to Quebec with students in the winter, but honestly, it's been one of the best shifts that we've really made. I attended it in the spring. It was wonderful, but to me, looking at the itinerary, looking at the experiences students have with outside activities in the winter in Quebec, there's nothing like it. So that was one of the shifts. So right now for next school year, it would be Friday, February 6th through Sunday, February 8th, which also coincides with Carnival. which again, to have students be able to experience that live, really be in that spirit of that festival is fabulous. So that was one of the shifts. We shifted the tour company to Promate Tour by Forum, which we've had a lot of success with. Jordan had used that tour company in the past. She had had success traveling with them. So she had that relationship, continued it here at the Galvin Middle School. One of the biggest shifts that we'd like to make for this year is in previous years, we've offered this trip to just 8th graders. So moving forward, we'd like to open it up to 7th and 8th graders and run the trip every other year. For the reason being, just for doing it every other year, just a little bit more doable for Jordan, planning that trip for her. When she finishes one, she's immediately, starting the next trip. So running it every other year seems more doable for her. Opening it up to both 7th and 8th graders expands the amount of students that have access to that trip. It also financially, it impacts it financially also. If you look at the cost down the bottom. So the base cost is $1,135, and that's with 22 plus students, and that's what we're really looking for, and that's the base. If we have less than that, if you look at it, it increases to $1,259 and then $1,446. So we'd really like to keep that price for families within that $1,100 range. So having more students able to join the trip, more students participate, we'll really be able to keep that price and where we think is doable for families at the price. Registration, if it is approved tonight, will open right away, immediately, August 28th, and the closing period is October 1st, which is a quick turnaround for families. Jordan did reach out to families back in May and June and let them know through email and obviously through verbal communication that we would be presenting it this summer, and that if it was approved, we would open registration right away. So although they haven't been able to register, it's been email communicated through email to the parents, so they're aware that we're presenting it today and that would be open right away. Okay. Taking a look at the itinerary, it is a jam-packed itinerary filled with, again, outdoor winter activities for students. On the way up, students are stopping at this beautiful waterfall, I think it's 83 meters high, higher than Niagara Falls. It's a beautiful waterfall. They'll be stopping at the St. Anne's Basilica and then having a traditional Canadian dinner at the Sugar Shack with dancing and music. It's really interactive for the students. They don't always love the meal, I'm not going to lie, right? It's something a little out of their comfort zone, but that's why it's great. They really can try something that's new. Probably their favorite part is what you mentioned, is that having their, it's basically sugar on a stick. They have the maple syrup on a bed of ice, turning into like a sugar candy treat is probably one of their favorite parts of that meal. The next day, they're dog sledding, they're snow rafting, they're visiting the ice hotel, and then one of the most spectacular parts of it is engaging in the carnival night parade that night with music and dance and a lot of festivities going on that night. In the third day, they will see that beautiful high chute. They will be tobogganing down that high chute, which I would never do, which is in the center of Quebec City. It's beautiful right there on the river, right next to the beautiful hotel, and again, participating in some more winter activities for Carnival. Looking at what's involved, so it is a 2-night overnight for Friday and Saturday, and coming home on Sunday. All dinners are included, 1 breakfast, 1 lunch. Exposure to all cultural and leisure activities. We have a local guide with us, a bilingual local guide with us the whole time for support. Ground transportation from Wakefield to Canada, and there will be 3 chaperones, so the ratio is typically 8-to-1 for students. And I'm going to go for it. There is a protection plan already embedded in the price for students. If parents would like to buy additional insurance, there is insurance for them to purchase for $31.50, and that's for, you can cancel for any point 48 hours up until the point of the trip. So that's for an additional, but the base insurance plan is included in the price for students. With all that said, so like I said, Jordan presented this information through email to the currently 6th and 7th grade parents. She has already scheduled a Zoom meeting for parents on Thursday, September 4th at 7 o'clock on Zoom to go over all the information, to answer any questions for parents that they may have at that time. And I think that's about it. I'm open to any questions that people may have.
Does anyone have any questions?
Let's go
I
ahead.
had a couple of questions.
Sure.
Were we able to keep the price the same from last year, or did it go up? Or?
You know what, I know it's very similar. I know there's not a big difference from last year to this year. I do know from that right there, so I do know we had 16 students attend last year, and that was one of the reasons why to expand it to a larger population of students, is that I believe we started with 18, and maybe just along the way, 2 students dropped out for no reason, just that they decided not to travel. And with dropping out, it raised the price a little bit, and we really want to try to go a little bit over that to keep that price similar for families.
And then in the communication so far, are families aware that it wouldn't happen next year, or is that going to be something new they're going to learn in the next discussion?
So Jordan communicated with that we would be running it every other year. Yes. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Do we usually average around 18, like historically for this trip?
So historically, we would typically average around 25.
Okay.
I would say around 25 in the past. Looking at what the Galvin is offering, we have a lot of trips right now that we're offering. I feel like the average was 25 for a long period of time before we were offering the DC trip and the New York trip. That was really the only trip that the Galvin Middle School was providing at that time. So I think, obviously families trying to plan, financially, thinking about having students choose which one would you like to go on. That we can't do it all, but what prioritize what trip you'd really like to attend, and we'll make that work for you.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you very much for the presentation.
Of course.
I think we always talk about this every year. This trip looks unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of us would want to chaperone with you.
I think Doug's going this year.
Count me in.
Yeah. But no, thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Please tell Jordan thank you as well.
I will. Thank you very much.
so much.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
She's really taken it and run with it, which is really great.
Does that need to be approved? Or
Do we have to make a motion? Oh, my bad.
That's what she's waiting for.
All right. Maybe you actually need us.
I know the routine. I know how it goes.
Gotcha.
I see your
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Motion to approve the Quebec trip as presented by Aaron Manzi.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Okay.
Unanimous vote?
Fabulous. Okay,
All right.
thank you again.
Thank you.
I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
I'll be back in a couple of weeks. Great. Thanks.
So literal. If I don't see that motion, it's not happening.
Thank you. So just getting back to, I can start getting back on my agenda, starting at the top, comments and updates. So since our last school committee meeting, we've had 2 additional retreat sessions to make 4 retreat meetings or administrative meetings in the month of August. We met on the 7th, the 12th, the 19th, and the 20th. On the 7th, we talked about vision of a graduate, and we spent a lot of time with our instructional strategy. On August 12th, we talked about data, and we talked a lot about instruction. And on the 19th, we talked about supervision and evaluation and really bringing in a new instrument, which I'm really pleased about. I know Kara's done a lot of work on this. And one of the things that we were really feeling like last year, we were, just for background, districts had a choice about 15 years ago to either adopt the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education Supervision and Evaluation System that is updated every few years, right, with their team at the Department of Ed, or to adapt and use the similar structure, but to create the model ourselves. And at the time, Wakefield was unique in one of a few districts that decided not to adopt the state model, but to adapt, right, to take the structure and to make it our own. And so what we did was we did quite a bit of work with kind of teacher group, administrative group. We worked with the union, and we created, or I was not here at the time, Kim Smith was here at the time leading this work. But she and that group created what became the administrative manual. And it was updated in 2016, 2017, 2018. The rubrics were also updated. This was also in a window where we were, I think, one of the first districts in the state to kind of develop our Blizzard bag. And we were working very closely with the Department of Ed on both of these projects, along with district determined measures. I don't know if you remember those, right? That was a little while ago. But what we've come to realize with this manual and with a lot of the work that was put into it, district determined measures are no longer used, right? And to keep the rubrics updated, it's just a tremendous amount of work. And the Department of Elementary and Secondary Ed just has more personnel, more resources to dedicate to the updating of that document to make it a better, rubrics better and better. And they also have diversified the documents to cover all the positions in the district. So when we assessed our system, we were very proud of it. We were proud of what we achieved, but we were really feeling at a disadvantage because we didn't have rubrics to evaluate all personnel, which really put us at a disadvantage. And what we were doing was we were backfilling with state rubrics while also using the adopted system that we had in place. So it was kind of like we were using, two parts of the whole, right? Instead of just putting ourselves in one camp or the other. This past year, Kara and the administrative group, along with leadership from the WEA and some teachers, got together. I was part of that group, and we reviewed and talked about, we did kind of a crosswalk of what would be the same, what would be different, what would it look like, what would it feel like, and I think that thoughtful work helped us come to consensus and move to a new supervision and evaluation rubrics, which we're really pleased about. So our meeting on the 20th, we talked, the 19th, we talked a lot about supervision and evaluation. We also talked a lot about the need to support instruction and really coach and kind of capture teachers that are really providing high-level instructional practices and creating opportunities for them to share those practices. Some of our teachers are really getting nice results with the curriculum materials that we have and the work that they're doing in their classes, and getting a high level of results year over year. And these teachers, we don't want to, this isn't about, pitting one against the other or making one feel better or worse. So it's not about better or worse, it's about just how can we really look at what's working well and think about kind of outcomes for kids. And so I think that's a lot of what we talked about in the night on the 19th. And on the 20th, we did a lot of management and operations work. We had kind of members from Central Office and Human Resources there. We talked about crisis planning. We did a kind of a lot of work. And we talked about communications and just really thinking about how we are marketing and advertising what we do, right? Because we do so much well. And I think often as educators, we just think, of course, everyone knows it. Well, the reality is that they don't. And so we talked quite a bit about that. And the group reflected on and gave us feedback on our goals. So we kind of flipped the script this year. We asked for the principals to provide us kind of priorities. What would you like us to prioritize? How can we put resources behind this? How can we, if we're kind of participating in a vision of a graduate kind of framework, how can we use that as a lens to commit district resources? So it was kind of a really nice meeting, and the group was able to highlight things that they think are really going well, which we don't hear a lot of from them either. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Karen?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this was at our very first meeting, as Doug said, principals, assistant principals, coordinators, directors, all together for our first meeting. So we did want to take advantage of the time that we all have together, which during the year, we meet, but it gets crazy. We're on a whirlwind, so it was just a nice time to be able to slow down a little bit. And as Doug said, we wanted to maximize hearing from everyone in the room and limiting our talking so everyone had a chance to give us feedback. So we kind of set the stage for that first meeting with prioritizing just buckets that we're going to be focused on throughout the year. Curriculum and instruction, I just want to make sure I get all of them correct. So, or curriculum and assessment, instruction, special education, leadership, and recruiting and retaining staff were what we, from central office said those are our big levers for the year. We really want to dig in on design goals around those topics, and then ask groups to work together to just do some reflection to start off before we got into what are our areas of growth. Let's take a minute and really reflect on the successes of our district. We don't often, get to sit around and do that because we're always moving on to the next thing. So it was really good. I tried to just streamline it and give you themes from every level. So we had mostly the groups for this part worked by level, preschool and elementary, middle and high, but there were some common themes across. For curriculum and assessment, our administrators are really proud of the curriculum work that's happened, just in terms of curriculum coordination and organization. There's no more like what is taught at this grade level in this course. It's all organized, standards aligned. There's a scope and sequence. There's high quality instructional materials to go along with it. We have our curriculum guides on the website in almost every subject area at this point right now. So the what to teach is no longer, it was never a mystery, but it's no longer like questionable. It's like we have that information clear. And there's guarantees, grade level to grade level, because what we want to see is that development and projection from grade level to grade level so skills will build. So I think people are really proud of that. Proud of the work we've done with data. Again, we've come a long way with just really assessing where our students are and then using that data to help drive instruction and goals in our teaching. Proud of the work we've done with early literacy and science of reading and professional development around that, just trying to get all of our teachers up to speed there and just really digging in on our early grades to make sure those foundational skills are secure. And then common assessments and diagnostic tools. Those were the themes across all levels that people are proud of. In terms of instruction, I think, again, just creating schedules that promote opportunities for good instruction, both in general ed, in special ed, in our intervention blocks. The fact that we've been able to create what I need blocks across all of our levels. People are really proud of that. Our principals have been very involved in curriculum implementation, and that helps so that they know what to expect, and they also understand the work and the challenges that our teachers are, facing day to day with the implementation of new curriculum. So I think bringing them into the work is nice for just overall collaboration. And then just, again, professional development on just meeting the needs of all learners across the board and trying to make sure that we're giving every student the experience they deserve. In terms of special education, there was a lot of focus on the work that's been done with specialized programs across all levels. By that, I mean the programs that are designed for specific populations of student. There was one point in time where we would have a program at the elementary level, but then that program might drop off at middle or high. And, if you have a parent of a child in that program, that's, quite anxiety and stress provoking because, what happens when they make that transition. And our goal, as Rosie and Doug have talked a lot, is to keep our students in their community, giving them the best education we can give them. So there's been that program development across levels. I know that we have a visual to outline it, which we can share if you haven't already seen it, but you just see the progression of the program development across all levels. So we're almost fully built with all of our specialized programs. Also trying to hear the feedback on parent communication and improving our IEP referral process, our meeting structures. I think we've looked at our systems and really tried to dig in there to make sure that we're not only in compliance, but our parents are feeling heard, supported, and that their kids are getting everything that they need. So that's always going to be a work in progress, but something we'll always keep striving for. Leadership is big for us. We do have, we were talking a lot about our leadership team and how it's been pretty consistent, which is not an easy thing to do. I think we hear about it a lot with turnover in administration. So that's a real source of pride for the group that we have this consistent leadership team that's been able to work together and, just in support the work that's happening in all of our buildings. We also highlighted just the work of just expanding leadership to teachers, the teacher leadership opportunities that we're trying to build across all levels, our collaboration with union leadership, the multiple committees that we've developed across the district to get really important feedback related to, as Doug mentioned, evaluation supervision, professional development. We have a diversity committee. There's a lot of different union and administrative committees that have, I think, served us well in the last year. And then also just speaking to recruiting and retaining staff, we were just at our new, our mentor program, and we got to meet all of our new hires across the district. It was really uplifting, such a strong group, and also a really strong group of mentors. So the idea of, hiring the best of the best that we can, but also having our strong veteran teachers be right there with them, supporting them and guiding them in doing their best work for our students. So we're all really proud of that between the recruiting and then retaining through strong collaboration and mentor programs. So we just thought that would maybe be a feel-good start to the year to share that with you. Again, I kind of summarized, but it was really good discussion. And it started off our series of meetings in a really positive way, which then led to, okay, enough celebrating. What are we doing next? On to the growth area. So there's lots of things that we were talking about related to growth as well. But it was just it was nice to take time to reflect on the success of the district. We're all really proud of it. Any questions related to that? Yep.
Yeah, so in your administrative retreat, were there any initiatives that, because you just talked about reflecting
Yep.
on all the things that, you've done in the past. Were there any initiatives that any of your team, including building principals or curriculum heads, came to engage in the next year? Or was it more reflecting on the past?
Yeah, it was reflecting on the past, and then we moved into areas of growth and tried to create themes across all of our levels for areas of growth, which will then you're going to see in future meetings in our district goals and school improvement plans. So we kind of wanted to get wheels turning to really be thinking about where do we need to go from here. So also the group spent time starting their school improvement plan process and really starting to think about what are the goals for that. And you're going to hear more on September 9th. So you'll probably hear, I won't go into all the details, but that's where I think you'll hear and see the initiatives that the specific targets that will be worked on at each building.
I think if I can contribute to your question a little bit, if you think about initiatives, right? So we have, for example, with special education, right? We have the new IEP, we have the implementation of the new IEP, implementation of the new DCAP. We have professional development and curriculum and programs that we didn't have in prior years. So that all occurred last year. We have a new supervision evaluation rubric that occurred last year. And so this is just one piece. So we've worked on adopting new curriculum in science last year.
We're doing all that unit development.
And so we're working on common assessments. We're working on, with our instructional leadership teams, about not only sharing common assessments, but how we might share instructional practices. So you're going to hear more of this, and you'll also hear kind of an update on what the principals reported last year. If you recall, the elementary principals sat here, the four of them, and they talked about areas that they thought that was moving at a rate that they were particularly pleased with. But they also talked pretty candidly about really areas of growth, which are challenging our most advanced learners, and really be thinking about how we're using data, right? And so this year when we open, you heard me talk in the last meeting about Seth Racine and Open Architect and kind of the data dashboard that we're going to be working with. And one of the things that we're going to be taking off with just to start the school year is just the metrics that we have and the data that we have around chronically absent students, right? And so if we have information in the queue, if we know students have struggled or families have struggled with attendance in years past, and we have that information in the queue, we're not going to wait until January to say, students they're still struggling to get here. In September and October, principals will be reaching out to families to think about how we might be able to support. right? How can we help you? How can we make sure you get here? What do kids need, right? And we talked a lot about what students need, right? And so I think you'll be hearing more details from the principal group, and I'm excited to hear from them as well. And you'll be hearing more from us about data and data tracking and about these metrics that we're referring to as well.
Any other questions? I just wanted to alert you of one more thing, too. So every year, we're keeping an eye on what the state is putting out in terms of grant opportunities. So I did want to alert the committee that we were accepted. We applied and were accepted into a grant offering one-on-one tutoring, live virtual tutoring through Ignite Tutoring. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of that or if that's familiar to you. So there's a lot going on at the state level in terms of early literacy, and this is a program that Val Drynan and I, our elementary humanities coordinator, looked into last year. The idea is to give quick, intense, 15-minute daily reading tutorial to ideally your students who are well below benchmark, looking to just give them additional time face-to-face to work on the foundational skills. We had looked into it last year. It definitely exceeded our budget, and there were no grant opportunities last year. Well, this year, Ignite has partnered with DESE through Literacy Launch, and they offered this grant opportunity to several districts, and we were accepted. And we got 66 spots across first grade. I think it runs like $2,500 a license, so we get 66 licenses to target first grade. So we're going to, we've had meetings with them to set it up. We've talked about who populations of students we ideally want to target, our first graders who are coming out well below benchmark, but also we had talked about the need to target our multilingual learners just in terms of feeling like, while we have increased staff, we're still not feeling like we're getting all of the minutes that we want to get in, that they should be getting in a day of specialized instruction. So those will be the groups that we'll target. Like I said, it's one-on-one, it's live virtual tutoring. It can take place within the general ed classroom. So we are thinking about, our WIN blocks, our foundational skills block. There's different parts in our day that we think we might be able to weave this in. And we'll provide the headphones, computer, and it should be a nice opportunity. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, it's pricey to continue, but we'll take the year opportunity, for free, which is good. Well, somebody's paying for it, but we're not.
That the 66 licenses,
Yeah.
what percentage of that does that cover for those students who are below benchmark in that grade level?
So yeah, we had talked that through. It's definitely going to cover all of our students who we've identified well below benchmark, and then, like I said, our multilingual learners within that grade. If, depending on our numbers, I don't know the exact number of first graders that will meet the criteria, but we are able to go outside of first grade to hit the 66 licenses if we don't have the numbers at first grade. We don't have a need of 66 students across first grade, so we're probably going to go outside of first grade. We can go K through 3.
We have
So.
12 first grade classrooms, and we won't hit 66,
Yeah.
so we will go outside of,
Yeah.
which is great.
That was a question that was important to us because we don't want to waste the licenses. We're like,
Right.
we have plenty of need in other, and they gave us approval that once we prioritize first grade, we can go K through 3. So we'll do that work of working with teachers and looking at our fall benchmark. I think is at the end of September. So we'll use that, and this tutoring will likely start in October.
So, and we've set up similar instructional support at grade 1 for our readers that need a boost in that space. So I feel like we do have some experience, and I think this is only going to add to the experience and the
Yeah.
learning that we're having. Kara, would you be kind enough to share with the committee just an update on the Acceleration Academy?
Yes. Yep. So that I think we were just able, to put. We just put. Just a Facebook post out just highlighting the week, and I sent just a quick feedback survey to parents, just again looking for improvement year over year. We had a great turnout. It happened last week, all 5 days at all 4 elementary schools, 8:30 to 12:30. Combination of our kindergarten teachers, our special education teachers. We did a heavy recruitment of like our Doyle teachers coming up and supporting classrooms to help ease that transition of students coming up from Doyle, and that worked really well. I mean, I think it was seamless. The week this year, we really had minimal to no hiccups. It went well. The kids seemed like they're having a great time. We had about 219 was the number I counted on our attendance sheets of 219 kids participated. We have about 250 registered, so pretty good numbers again. And yeah, it was just overall, I think, just a great experience. Kids feel more ready, to start when they come back, less nerves already. I think I had like 50 responses on the feedback form so far, and it was pretty overwhelming that it was a positive experience. Their student felt less nervous. They had fun with their friends. It was nice to meet teachers and classmates. So it went well. Yeah, it's a pretty well-oiled machine at this point. It was our fifth summer.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And just for background for the committee, this Acceleration Academy idea was something that we came up with, and just because most districts had a choice to kind of put dollars across the entire pre-K through 12 continuum. And we chose not to do that after COVID. We chose that we were going to focus on our new learners, our kindergartners coming in. And this is the first year that the grant has also been cut. So we need to give special thanks to Christine Bufagna, who worked very closely with Estelle Burdick and Kara to kind of work with Wakefield Academy to develop the funding to keep this going without the grant. So this has been such a success for students and families, and also our faculty. Our faculty love this because it's like a soft opening for our students. There's very little angst, or there's very few tears the first day of kindergarten after students have an opportunity to go through this. Funny, you might find this funny, I found it funny, that where there were tears was when the week ends and kids don't want it to stop because they're so kind of excited to be in their class with their teachers, which I got a kick out of. Like they didn't want to go home, which I think that's a testimony, speaks for itself. But just for background, so thank you, Kara. Very much. We appreciate
Thanks to
your
the
work in that
teachers,
area.
staff. We had a nurse floating Meg Hoffman, para especially. It's a real group effort, and everyone just puts their all into it. And it's a great week. Very positive.
Great. I don't know if there are other questions.
I can't believe it's been 5 years.
Yeah.
It feels
I
like
know.
yesterday that it started. And just doubly kudos to Christine and Estelle and team to keep that going. I think when it started, that's been a concern. I think you knew it was going to be a success at the get-go, and knowing how we would be able to keep it funded
It's
is
going to be a
huge.
year-to-year thing.
Huge.
Yeah. But like Kara said, it's a team effort, and our, the people make the place. Our faculty just crush it in this space. We now have Kara's brought in pre-K teachers to work with our K staff, which is a plus because they now get some insight into what kindergarten looks like. We brought paras into this space, so I think the crossover is really going to help students transitioning. So there's a lot of positives there. So maybe we can invite some of our little people and some of our K teachers in to talk about their experience.
That's a good
I think
idea.
that would
I
be
know we haven't had
memorable.
that happen yet. Yeah.
That would be memorable. So
Maybe not the case. I don't know.
I don't know if they stay up.
We'll see. It's a little late.
Too late.
Meetings go
All
long.
right. I'm just wishful thinking on my part. So that's it for comments and updates. In our next meeting, we're going to invite in Mike Murphy and Danny Lum to talk about fall sports. Everybody's in. Tom Bankert's in. Fine and Performing Arts, cheer, color guard. I mean, everybody's in. And so, xylophones are spread across the parking lot, and they are going to town. It's such a great time of year, and we can't wait for kids to come next week. But that's an aside. So other agenda items, the bullying prevention and intervention plan. We've included that in the packet. This is not a new document, right? So this is just a document that's just been polished up. Melissa, I need to thank Melissa. She has a pretty keen eye. She's now the district editor, and this works, this doesn't, this needs to change. And so, and we go through and we make those edits. And we've polished up the doc. And so, again, not a new doc. It's just something that I think has been polished up. We wanted to get it in front of the committee just to share with you. I don't know if you have any feedback on that. Happy to take any feedback. If not, I could talk a little bit more about bullying PD.
Does anyone have any questions? I just had one question.
Yes, sir.
So, was there any substantial change or revision, or is it pretty much like grammatical edits?
So a little of both. And so, you know, for substance, you know, we updated what we are and aren't using for curriculum to reference bullying, to do that bullying work, you know, and so there was some not grammatical stuff as much as just, you know, how the flow of text went, you know, so we've changed text, we've updated dates. So it's kind of a business update is really what it is how I would describe it. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we wanted to kind of get that in front of you, just to let you know where we are with that. Also want to let the committee know that as part of our training modules, all faculty and staff participate in training modules, which you go online, you watch some videos, and so you kind of have to kind of go through things sequentially. You can't jump ahead. It times out. You know, it's very structured. And so we're working with a private company that's providing these modules, and bullying and cyberbullying are part of that, which is good. So that's just an update there. But if no other information on the BPIP, we will be getting that onto our website this week with the approval of the school committee.
Yeah. Okay, that motion for the school committee to approve the amended bullying prevention plan. Second. All right, all those in favor? Unanimous.
So just an update as well on student and parent handbooks. So this is our third meeting where we've had handbooks on the agenda. To prepare for this meeting, we've done, and I know some members of the committee have had conversations with Ann and Bill Herzog, representing CPAC and other families that also just had some concerns about our cell phone policy. And the big concern is really just about students that need access to cell phones at the high school for medical reasons, all right, or for social emotional reasons. And what we shared is that any student that needs a phone for medical reason, for social emotional reason, if we're working with a counseling team or as specified on an IEP or 504, there's no question there. We will provide that support. And I too met via Zoom with Bill and Ann, and they gave us some thoughtful feedback, right? And I think, you know, their concern was just the rate at which we were kind of rolling it out. And, you know, and if we had a do-over, we probably should have moved a little bit more slowly. And that's on me. And so I'll take responsibility for that. And I appreciate the feedback that Ann and Bill provided. And, you know, we're moving on. And also, just for context and background, the Study Act, which is the legislation that's at the State House, is still being looked at by the House, right? So we don't know where that is, but likely they will. What that means is that they will require districts to have a cell phone policy. Is where that what that language says currently. Could change, but that's what it says currently. And if that be the case, we will already be in that space. So with the exception of that, I would ask the committee to support the student and parent handbooks that were put forward in our last meeting.
Okay. I think there's a motion on the floor.
Yep. Move that the school committee approve the 2025-2026 Wakefield Public Schools student and parent handbooks as presented.
Second. Are there any comments for discussion by the committee? No? Okay. I just want to thank, I know that, you know, this, you know, has been discussed in two previous committees. I want to thank Melissa and the policy subcommittee because you guys did some work on this. And I think that with the revisions to the handbook, Going through it, I think that, this is a pretty sound, cell phone policy. While we realize that, there are definitely concerns from parents regarding, a stricter cell phone policy in the high school, I think when we look at academic outcomes, when we look at social outcomes as well, speaking from someone in the classroom, I just have, I don't have statistical evidence. I just have a lot of anecdotal evidence about improved academic outcomes, but also socialization that I just see within the classroom when there's just no phones that are there. Oh, yeah.
I was just thinking about
Sure.
sort of if sort of with without cell phones sort of being in classrooms and perhaps in schools, there is that piece that parents are concerned about with communicating with their student in any variety of instances where they might feel like they need to reach out to their kid. I would just urge, and I think this is going to happen, I just want to say it, that I would urge sort of administration to be in front of that. I think I sort of mentioned it to Ms. McLeod already about sort of, how can we be better about sort of having, a more open as it is now, a more open office to where students feel comfortable to come in and say, can I use the phone? Or where parents know that they're going to have a thoughtful person pick up the phone and be able to reach out to their kid if there's something going on. And I know it's a variety of issues, but when I start to think about that, I go back to that incident where we had, I think it was a sewer problem at the middle school, and a communication didn't go out in an appropriate way to inform parents about a change in situation. And so I know that we've corrected for that. And so I just think we have to be sort of eyes wide open, that we're going to have to be a little bit more robust in our communication in situations where maybe we've been able to be a little bit more relaxed in the past decade or so. So that's all, just a comment. I know the work gets done. I know we have very caring, competent people in those places. So I'm not really worried about it. I just want to vocalize it.
Thank you for the feedback.
And just to add to what you're saying, Stephen, that was one of the topics we had talked to Ms. McLeod about during our subcommittee meeting, and there were some like a paragraph added to that. And so I appreciate your comment on it, because that was some of the concerns that we had expressed as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other comments?
I think we need to thank Amy McLeod too,
Yeah.
for her work on this, because she too took the feedback, I think, from all sectors and really tried to improve the text, right? I think the information around accommodations was kind of really clearly and firmly delivered, and I think we tried to really put that in a number of places. And this is this off and away policy is a different policy than the middle school, and many students, I think, are arguing less restrictive than the middle school. So I think students that have been doing this at the middle school feel like, yeah, we got it. So that's a quick, but that's where we're at. So thank you. Appreciate the feedback.
Any other comments or discussion? All right, all those in favor of the policy? All those against? Unanimous, it passes.
Thank you. That's it for me. Appreciate your time.
Okay. I do not have many comments, but one thing I do want to say, it's August 26th. The school year is starting for students in Wakefield next week. And I think the beginning of the school year, as a teacher, it's an interesting time because you have a tremendous amount of energy in the fall. September and October is definitely, everyone's excited. The kids are excited. The teachers are excited. And it does allow a lot of great things to happen. At the same time, there's a lot of anxiety as we're going into a new school year. So I just want to say that, after the long summer, I'm definitely super excited for the school year to start. And I'm really looking forward to the next few months getting back into it. This is a weird gig. It's a weird job. We just get these 2-month, breaks, not just as an educator, but also as a school committee. I mean, not that we don't do anything over the summer, but we do way less over the summer. And it's just getting back into the the swing of it and doing what we're supposed to be doing, it's always a good time of year. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to hitting the ground running. And yeah, thanks to the administration for setting everything up over the last month. And yeah, good luck next week.
Thank you. Teachers are in for 2 professional days,
Yeah.
tomorrow and the next day, Wednesday,
Tomorrow.
Thursday. Friday is not a work day for teachers. For year-round staff, we'll all be here. And then Tuesday, we welcome back families at the regular kind of start times.
Yeah.
And so very excited about that. Yep.
Yeah, and that's all I got. Next on the agenda is subcommittee reports. Finance and facilities, Tom Markham is not here. But if there's anyone that, yes.
So we haven't met, but Tom is working on setting up a schedule. He sent out a bunch of dates to all of us, so he's going to get a pretty regular schedule going for meetings
Okay.
coming
I
up.
think she had 4 dates, right?
Well, four choice, like 2 choices for 4 different months, I believe.
Got it.
Yep.
Labor and personnel.
Yeah, we too haven't met yet, but once the school year gets started, we'll be circling up again and planning our next meetings.
Student services.
Same, we have not met, but we do have some stuff that we need to talk about, so I think we're going to work to set a meeting in the next couple weeks, hopefully before our next meeting.
And policy and communications.
We have not met since our last meeting, but we got some updates from MASC on policies that we were just about to consider. So we're going to take some time to wrap those new recommendations in and hope to get a meeting sometime in the next week or two. Try and
That's good.
have those before us for the next meeting.
Okay. Do we have any liaison reports?
I think I have an ESC question about solar panels on the middle school. If they did get installed to this,
They did get installed.
brilliant.
And we, they have not been, as Tim likes to say, plugged in yet, which I always get a kick out of. I just think of the orange extension cord or plug, but I know it's not like that. But, so we'll have a facilities update in our next meeting.
Great.
And there'll be more information forthcoming there. We also upgraded the electrical service at the Greenwood and the Doyle. And I was excited to learn that the Greenwood had 100 amp service, which is probably half of what you have at your house.
Used to have?
No, had.
Had
Had.
like as of a few weeks ago.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And we just upgraded the service to a 600 amp service,
Yeah.
which is, great. So we're ready to look at MSBA and talk about expanding Greenwood. To be continued. Da, da, da.
No one else? Okay, next agenda item, our next school committee meeting is going to be on Tuesday, September 9th. So we'll be able to report on how the first week of school went. That'll be at 7 o'clock. Next on the agenda, school committee comments. Does anyone have any comments? Kevin Piscatore.
Just kind of echoing where you were going. Just want to wish everyone a welcome back. Hope everyone had a nice summer. But like you, it's such an exciting time, particularly in education. We just got started this week, and there's just so much hope and excitement and those sorts of things. So just want to welcome all our faculty and staff back, and then certainly our students next week. So looking forward to another great year.
Stephen?
Staying squarely in the vacation realm, I wanted to sort of give a shout out to Mark Bouchard and other fourth grade teachers, including my going to be fifth graders, fourth grade teacher, Miss Ashley Perrin, for their National Park program. Getting Every Kid Outdoors program was a program that was started during the Obama administration to give a free national park pass to fourth graders. So from September 1st to August 31st, students just fill out an easy form, and when they visit a national park, they get a pass that works in any national park. So our daughter got to use her fourth grade pass. The ranger at Muir Woods was very official. The minute that we said we were there for the fourth grade badge, she ceased to talk to us. She talked directly to our daughter, and bestowed all of the rights and powers on her to take charge of this card. And so we went to Muir Woods. We went to Yosemite, went through the same thing. She handed the card out the back window. And I just think it's a great program. And I've known that it has existed for a while, but Mr. Bouchard just put a magnifying glass on it and just kind of blew it up, I think, for the whole district, making kids very aware of it and families. And so if people don't know, it's not just the student that gets in for free, it's your whole family. And it's just a really fun way. And Audrey actually picked Yosemite from doing some national park virtual tours with Mr. Bouchard. So it was just a fun way to sort of end summer for us. And it just felt really good to sort of throw back to like the last vestiges of like her fourth grade, like awesome year. So just a thank you to just an instance of all the super cool extracurricular kind of things that happen in the district and the great people that make them happen.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any comments? All right, seeing none. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Move the school committee adjourn its meeting of Tuesday, August 26th, 2025.
Second.
All those in favor? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.
That was after dinner.